Frugal Force. Once again, this is Captain Frugal reporting for duty with another episode of Road Rage. I'm not very raged out right now. Just last night, I gave to the the Indiegogo for Jawbreakers. And I'd like to say it's in support of Richard Meyer as well as John Malin. Be honest, though, too, on top of that, I really am interested in that book. It looks like a classic, well, not necessarily classic, but a throwback tale to the 90s heroes kind of thing and the style of art. I'm really interested in seeing that. I tend to really like John Malin's art, and I think it's going to take this book to the next level. So I'm really, really looking forward to it. Little Frugal and I bought it together. We're going to read it together, and we plan on reviewing it. With that said, that's my point today that's going to start driving this video. Is all this talk and pandering, for SJW type books and things. Look at how the sales have been. They've been abysmal. But yet one of the big arguments is, for anybody like myself and things that speak up, that a lot of times we get accused, well, you guys don't really buy comics. Well, I think I've proven that wrong. I mean, I've shown comics and videos. I've even shown my comic book room that's in transition right now because I'm moving rooms from one room to another. So I don't even have everything up there, and it looks like a torpedo hit it right now because I have to reorganize and all that. Because it takes a lot to carry thousands of comic books. But, I love it when somebody, you don't buy comics. Sure, you clearly don't watch my videos. Well, anyway, the point is buying comics. I think we're seeing it where we're putting our money where our mouth is. As we get coined Comicsgate, really, in my opinion, it's just we want good comics. And the comic book companies need to listen to the customer base. And I think we're seeing it. We've seen the success of Rags Zombie. Not Zombie, but Rags, the comic book there. And how successful that crew has been by what? Listening to their clients, the customers. What do they want? They listen to feedback as well. And Richard Meyer listened to feedback as well from his original take of Jawbreakers. And he's upped his game. And we're seeing this, and this is capitalism in effect. I've been saying this for years now, and it's starting to really show. If Marvel is not willing to produce what the customers want, the customers are eventually going to go elsewhere. We've seen it with DC. DC said, okay, Marvel, you're not going to use the Hulk? We're going to make the Hulk. You're not going to use the Fantastic Four? We're going to make the Fantastic Four with the Terrifics. As well as Sideways and these other characters, and they've been quite successful. So, there are different takes on those kind of characters, clearly. We won't say that, but that's what they seem to be. But it's proving a point. People wanted those characters. If they don't get them, they're going to go elsewhere to get them. Marvel needs to learn a lesson. But of course, did they? Probably not. Well, maybe they did, because now they're bringing Fantastic Four back. But of course, it's under Dan Slott, so how good can that be? Which I'm hoping I'm wrong. I'm hoping it'll be a fantastic book. Fantastic Four, fantastic book. Anyway, I tend to wonder, though, because I don't know if Dan Slott can really write a family. We'll see, as well as his Iron Man. Ugh. Well, he's been writing Iron Man already with Spider-Man for a while. He's all over the place, but only time will tell. With that said, though, Marvel not giving what people want, it also creates an opening for new business, and that's one of the great things about capitalism. When one company fails, another one usually rises to fulfill the need and take its place, and we're seeing that more and more with these independent comic books and things. There's been several of them popping up, and we've been seeing success, and I think that's part of the reason we see success. You treat your customer base with respect and kindness, and they will support you. That's what comic companies need, as well as any company. They need loyal fans. See, that's part of the Marvel problem. They went for all these SJW fans, and these are not loyal people. The second you say one thing they don't like, they will turn against you. And that's the target market they pined for and also failed really to get. Those people weren't buying the books. The numbers prove it. They can lie and twist things all they want, but let's get real here. It failed. And it's created an opening for people that are desiring comic books that they want. And, you know, we all have different needs and wants, but it seems like a lot of people are clamoring back to rolling back the clock several years and what they perceive as good comics. And that's probably because the age group that tend to be buying those comics were buying them at that period of time. Like myself, I'd clamor for even older yet style of comics some, but I love the, you know, some of the other ones too. And I'm not saying the 90s, by the way, their greatest period of comics. They weren't. Okay. Some of the art was fantastic, but some of the stories are pretty lackluster. But, you know, you have that in every time period, actually. But I will say the 2010s have been a pretty bleak time for comics up until maybe now. I think maybe it's time to start getting a little excited again. We're starting to see these indie comics popping up, providing some real potential avenues. I mean, who knows if this Jawbreakers thing does really good, which it seems to be doing great already. Maybe it'll pave way for a Jawbreakers series, or maybe they'll get picked up by another company to do a run, you know, rather than just being an independent. Who knows? The limits are really endless out there, and that's my point. Customers are going to drive the business. We buy the products. If we don't buy it, it's not there. We will go to where the products are that we want. Marvel's feeling the hurt, and I think this is wonderful because I don't know about you guys, I want good Marvel. I want good Captain America. I want good Spider-Man. I want great Avengers. We're not getting it. Instead, we've been getting garbage art for the most part because they don't care to put the quality in, and maybe the artists could even be quite good in some cases. They're just maybe not getting paid very well, so they're giving, you know, a half-done job. I don't know all the particulars there. I'm not them, but we clearly see a lackluster art. We're seeing very lackluster stories filled with more propaganda than actual story. So we've been saying that we don't want that. We do not. Matter of fact, there was an article that was written just recently that I was interviewed for, and I talked about that. In most cases, we don't want politics in our book. And I know we're going to hear, well, there's always been. And to a degree, that's true. But there's a couple differences. The writing was better. It wasn't the main focus. And I will double down again and say the writing was better. And, you know, we're willing to take a little here and there. Now, granted, don't get me wrong, there was some clunkers and things. I mean, you go back, let's say, to, you know, Spider-Man, for example. There's been some definitely SJW stuff in there from Jerry Conway. And Jerry Conway's a good writer. He's wrote some epic, most memorable tales of Spider-Man we might ever have. But yet there was some SJW clunkers in there thrown in on occasion. But we're usually willing to look past that if there's enough good around it. And that's probably the problem with Marvel. It's been so filled with bad, you can't look around it anymore. It's been absolute garbage, and it's every book. And Captain America, for crying out loud, that should stand for everybody in the U.S., is being used as a propaganda mouthpiece, for crying out loud. You got the Mark Wadeisms always thrown in there. He's got to throw in the weak, because, I don't know, he thinks he's some kind of savior or something. Come on, this guy needs some mental health. Seriously bad. He's focused constantly thinking he's got to punch up and protect the weak. He doesn't realize he's the bully. People like him that don't realize they're the actual bullies. They've pushed out people that were inclusive to make it exclusive, and tries to act as if they're tolerant as they hide under their cloak of intolerance. Shame on them. They're ruining the industry. But if that's the way they're going to go, and companies like Marvel are going to continue to allow that garbage to happen, people are going to be running more to things like Indiegogo, like we see with Jawbreakers and all these other independents. And you know what? We have every right to do so, and I hope it continues. It will be a wake-up call eventually to Marvel. It's sort of like guerrilla warfare. They're going to be ticking away at their sales, and they're not going to notice it initially right off the bat. But once they really start seeing at the end of the quarter those drops in the figures of how much the income, and they've been seeing it. Trust me, that's why some changes have been made. We're going to see some differences. So I'd like to say thank you, everybody in the comic books community. We're standing up for what we want, what we believe in. We're supporting what we want with our dollars, and that is truly an amazing thing there. That's what we need to continue to do. I've done it. Little Frugal and I have both done it together. and we see that the comic community truly does support this and support other independents that they feel is interesting to them. So that is awesome. Thank you, everyone. If you enjoy these kind of videos, make sure you hit like and subscribe and hit that notifications bell. Double check on that stuff too, because I've noticed several times now YouTube likes to unsubscribe people. I've had people tell me YouTube has unsubscribed them and they didn't do it. Now, maybe they didn't tell me the truth, I don't know, but I tend to think they did, and they're not getting their notifications. So one way to make sure that you get notified from my videos, probably the better way, and I know it sounds a little shillish, and I do apologize for that, you can subscribe to our Patreon. You can go down the link below to Patreon for just $1 a month, and I put the videos there too, so you should get notified through Patreon. All right. Well, once again, thank you for your time. Little Frugal and I greatly appreciate all your guys' support. We'd be nothing without you, and you really help this channel and give us a lot of fun doing it. And until next time, keep it frugal.